It's 3 a.m., your eyes snap open. Nothing woke you, no sound, no dream you can remember. You just wake up, heart a little fast. Eyes scanning the dark ceiling for a threat that isn't there, then you roll over, tell yourself it's nothing, and fall back asleep. But it isn't nothing. That little jolt at 3 a.m. is one of the oldest things about you. It's a piece of code that's 300,000 years old, still running in a body that no longer needs it. And by the end of this, you're going to know exactly what it was built for. Because for almost all of human history, the dark was the most dangerous part of being alive. Not the hunt, not the cold, the night, the 8 hours you spent lying on the ground unconscious while everything that wanted to eat you woke up. So here's the question nobody asks. When the sun went down on a world with no walls, no doors, no electric light, how did your ancestors close their eyes and survive until morning? Stay with me, because the answer is stranger than you think. Picture it, you're a human, a real one, 200,000 years ago. The sun is dropping behind the hills and the temperature is dropping with it. You have no house, you have no lock. You have a patch of ground, a few people you trust, and a body that desperately needs to shut down for the night. And the moment it gets dark, the world flips. The animals that slept through the heat of the day are waking up. Leopards, hyenas, lions, their eyes work in the dark. Yours don't. They can smell you from across a valley. They can move without a sound. And they have learned over thousands of generations that a sleeping human is the easiest meal on the savannah. Think about that for a second. You spend a third of your life unconscious. For an animal that hunts at night, that's not a person, that's a delivery. So sleep for your ancestors was not rest. Sleep was the single most defenseless thing they did every single day, out in the open, surrounded by things with claws. And for a long, long time, a lot of them didn't wake up. But here's where it changes. Here's the thing that flipped the whole game. Fire. Somewhere around 400,000 years ago, humans learned to control it. And we usually talk about fire like it was about cooking or warmth, but the biggest thing fire did might have happened at night. A fire pushes back the dark. Predators that hunt by stealth hate a wall of light and crackling sound and smoke. So for the first time, humans had a barrier that wasn't a wall, a ring of light you could actually sleep inside. But fire doesn't tend itself. A fire left alone dies in a couple of hours, and when it dies, the dark comes back, and so do the eyes at the edge of it. So somebody had to stay awake to feed it, somebody had to watch. And that one problem, who watches the fire while everyone sleeps, quietly built one of the most important survival systems your species ever invented. Here's what nobody tells you about it. Anthropologists wanted to know how ancient humans really slept, so they went and studied the people who still live closest to that old way of life. The Hadza, in Tanzania, hunter-gatherers who sleep on the ground in the open the way humans have for hundreds of thousands of years. The researchers strapped trackers on a whole camp and watched, around the clock, for weeks. And they found something incredible. Across more than 200 hours of sleep, 20+ adults, night after night, there was almost no moment when everyone in the group was asleep at the same time. Add up every second the entire camp was unconscious together, and across all those nights it came to about 18 minutes, total. 18 minutes. The rest of the time, somebody was always awake, not on a schedule, not on guard duty, it just happened. The older people in the group naturally fell asleep early and woke up early. The younger ones stayed up late and slept in. Their body clocks were spread out across the whole night like a relay team nobody planned. Scientists call it the sentinel hypothesis. The idea is brutally simple. A group of humans is almost never fully unconscious. At any hour of the night, someone's eyes are open, someone hears the branch snap, someone smells the smoke change, and that someone wakes the others. So your ancestors didn't survive the night because they were strong. A sleeping human is not strong. They survived because they never fully went dark as a group. The thing that kept you alive while you slept was not a wall and not a weapon. It was the person lying next to you on a slightly different clock. And it gets stranger. You probably think ancient humans slept more than you. No phones, no screens, no deadlines, just sundown to sunrise, 10 blissful hours in the dark, right? Wrong. When those same researchers measured it, the hunter-gatherers slept around 6 to 7 hours a night, sometimes less than the people watching this video. They didn't pass out when the sun went down, they stayed up for hours after dark around the fire talking. And here's the part that's actually insane. In the languages of some of these groups, there is no word for insomnia. The idea of lying awake at night, anxious, unable to sleep, fighting your own brain, it barely exists for them. No mattress, no blackout curtains, no melatonin, no nightly war with your own mind, and they slept better than you. What they did was a bed of sorts. In a place called Border Cave in South Africa, archaeologists found the oldest bedding ever discovered, around 200,000 years old. Bundles of grass layered carefully on the cave floor, and underneath the grass a layer of ash, not by accident. The ash kept crawling insects away. 200,000 years ago, somebody made their bed and added bug repellent to it so they could sleep without things biting them all night. That's not a primitive animal in a cave, that's a person, solving the exact same problem you solve when you spray your tent. They wanted a clean, safe, comfortable place to lie down, same as you, just with lions outside instead of a locked door. So let's go back to 3 a.m. Back to you, eyes open in the dark, scanning a ceiling for a threat that isn't there. That jolt isn't a malfunction. For most of human history, waking up in the middle of the night wasn't a problem, it was the system working. A brain that surfaces in the small hours, checks the dark, listens, and either sounds the alarm or drifts back down. You weren't supposed to sleep 8 hours straight, sealed off from the world. You were supposed to stir, to be the sentinel for a minute, then hand the watch back to the night. The threat is gone now, the lions are gone, the fire is gone, but the wiring stayed. So you wake at 3 a.m. in a locked apartment, safe behind a door your ancestors couldn't have imagined, and your body still runs the ancient check. All clear, go back to sleep. This isn't about how primitive they were. This isn't about how soft we've become. This is about how a body built for a world of darkness and predators is still in there, doing its job in a world that doesn't need it anymore. You sleep through the night because someone, a very long time ago, didn't have to. Because they slept in a circle around a fire on a clock that overlapped with everyone else's, so the group was never blind. You'll spend about 26 years of your life asleep, completely defenseless, and you'll do it behind a locked door without a second thought, a kind of safety that took your species 300,000 years to build. So here's my question for you. Next time you wake up at 3 a.m. for no reason, are you going to be annoyed? Or are you going to remember what that little jolt is actually for? Tell me down below, and if this rewired the way you think about your own sleep, subscribe. There's a lot more where this came from.